Today's guest lost both of her TikTok accounts in the same week and had to start completely from scratch.
Correct me if I'm wrong, $400,000 in profit, right?
Yeah, it was at 486,000.
Going from a stay-at-home mom of 3, barely making ends meet, to pulling in almost $500,000 in a single month.
My family and I lived in a 1,000-square-foot house with 5 of us, and so being able to just recently get into a beautiful home on property where my kids finally have like their own rooms, that's been huge.
I got her in the studio to break down everything, from the exact product research strategy behind one of the biggest affiliate months ever recorded, to the unique content angles she created that no one else was doing, to the mindset shift that took her from an $88 day to over $9 million. Welcome, Kayla Burkett.
Welcome back to the 7-Figure Affiliate Podcast. My name is Sebastian Bedenker. I'm the owner of 7-Figure Affiliate, where we help affiliates start and scale with TikTok Shop. And guys, I'm so excited to bring you today's guest, Kayla Burkett. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just so excited to have you on today's podcast because I know, especially a lot of the girls, the women watching this, they know who you are and they know like the insane run that you've had. You had one of the highest profit months with TikTok Shop. So like just kind of to get started, tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you even get into the world of TikTok Shop affiliate?
Yeah, it's been crazy. So I've been doing TikTok Shop for 2 years now. I started in January of 2024. I am a mom of 3. I've got 3 boys. And at the time, my husband had just started his own construction business. He became a contractor, and that pay is just super inconsistent. But I was at home with the boys, and I knew I valued that time and the flexibility.
Yeah.
And I've tried office jobs and I hated them. I don't want to be told what to do. I don't want to
Yeah.
ask permission to take time off or take vacation, or if my kids are sick, feel guilty about calling in. But we were in a place of really struggling financially because his pay was so inconsistent. So we knew we had to do something. Like, things were getting tight quick. And I was actually offered an office job. It was like starting management position in the industry that I was currently in. Really good pay, full benefits, like everything I could have wanted, but like everything in me was telling me not to do it.
Yeah.
And I was just scrolling TikTok and I saw this guy talk about TikTok Shop, and he had made like $20,000 in a month, which at the time I was like, I couldn't even wrap my mind around that kind of money.
I know. It sounds unbelievable when you hear
and
stuff
it
like
is
that.
like, it is unbelievable. But now that we're so far into it,
Yeah.
like, we know it's definitely attainable. But at the
Mhm.
time, I was just like, God, even a fraction of that would have helped our family so much.
Yeah.
So I already had kind of like a following, nothing huge. I think I had about maybe 8,000 followers at the time. And I had looked into other ways of making money online. I had looked into different types of e-commerce, whether it was like digital products or drop shipping, and everything seemed so complicated. I didn't want to have to like push a course to people. And so when I saw that video about TikTok Shop and I looked into it, I was like, there's no way it's that simple. Like, I don't want
Yeah.
to say TikTok Shop's easy, but it's simple. It's like the brand sends you the product, you make the video, you don't have
Yeah.
to deal with inventory, you don't have to deal with customer service, and then you just sell it.
Yeah.
You know, if
Just
if
post
you
content.
yeah, you just post content with the product that the brand gives you. I'm like, that seems too easy.
Yeah.
But I started it January of 2024, and I found success pretty quick. I was focusing more on live streaming.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was too scared to like show my face on there
Yeah.
at the time doing shoppable content because it just felt so cringe. Like, it even still feels cringe, but at the time.
Yeah.
So I did live streaming, and I feel like I found success pretty fast. And then I ended up losing, I had 2 accounts. I ended up losing both accounts in the same week. This was like May of 2024. Both of my accounts were gone, banned. I had over 15,000 in commission frozen. I had to start over from scratch. And
Those were your only accounts, or
those
did
are
you
my
have
own
any backups?
No, those are my only accounts. I had 2, so it was like all gone.
Yeah.
And I had to start over from scratch, and at the end of May of 2024. And then that's my account that I have now, is
Yeah.
aligned with Kay, and grinding on that
Yeah.
ever since.
From there, it's history, and I feel like for the people that are in the space, they kind of know. But you know, the main thing that people say about you is that like you were going through, like you were experiencing
Yeah.
lows, violations, bans,
Yeah.
and then it's kind of like out of nowhere you had that insane month. So I guess now I want to touch on like what are some of the things that you've been able to do with TikTok Shop, and like what are some of your biggest accomplishments?
Yeah. I would say, I mean, I've definitely been in the trenches. I think anyone who's been at this long enough knows that like the highs are high, but the lows are low.
Oh
And
yeah,
like,
for sure.
I think that like defines a good affiliate better than any like achievement number wise, is just the ability to stick with it when you do get those violations or an account banned or low days, whatever it is. So I'd say some of the accomplishments, I mean, monetary wise, it's been phenomenal. It's completely changed my life, my family's life. My family and I lived in 1,000 square foot house with 5 of us. And so being able to just recently get into a beautiful home on property where my kids finally have like their own rooms, that's been huge. But then
That's amazing.
I think just like the personal development and growth that comes with any level of like being an entrepreneur. I heard someone say like entrepreneurship is like self-development on crack, and it is like you just have to like learn how to overcome so many things, whether it's like social anxiety and putting yourself out there, that fear of being seen. So I think there's been a lot of personal growth.
That's so true.
On that side of it. But then just incredible opportunities. I was able to go to South Korea with TikTok Shop and some of like the top beauty creators. I was just on a billboard in Times Square with my best friend
That's
for Dr.
insane.
Malaxin. Like just things that I never even knew to wish for have happened because of TikTok Shop.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, I think like, and we'll get into like the numbers as well, and that stuff is all cool. But I think the most amazing things, exactly like you said, is like the things you're able to do with your family, like the freedom that it gives you, like being able to travel. Like you said, you went to South Korea.
Yeah, I went to
That's
South Korea. It
insane.
was the TikTok K-Beauty ambassador trip. And I mean, just the connections, like the people that I've met. I mean, my best friend, Ashley, Rome Baby, like I met her early on, truly when I like needed her most. I would have given up if it wasn't for her. She helped me through those trenches.
It's amazing.
And I think finding those connections in this space is different than anywhere else because it's people that get like this level of struggle, but also the reward on the other side. And same with Amber. Her and I haven't known each other as long, but we've gotten close very, very quickly because we've understood also the mental toll that this can take. Because I don't think enough affiliates talk about the challenges that come with being an affiliate. I think there's a lot. I mean, it's life-changing, which is why we're all doing it. But I think it pushes you in so many ways that we're not used to, and not a lot of people can relate to that. So the connections that I've developed too is like almost more valuable than anything else that I've received from this.
Yeah, that's why I feel like when you do find like that community or that group of friends that does affiliate, like you need to hold on to them because
they're not going anywhere.
Exactly. Like a lot of us, we grew up in maybe like small hometowns or maybe in families like that just follow the traditional path. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know, but maybe they don't really understand like the whole content thing. They're like, you know, what are you doing? What do you mean you're posting like random skincare products? Like, what do you mean like that's your job? Like, they don't really understand it. So when you do find those people that not only understand you, but they're on the same journey, like, and they're going through the same challenges and everything, like you need to hold on to them. And I guess that's something I want to talk about as well. Is like, how did you actually manage to keep going when maybe your account got banned or when you were experiencing those low sales? Like, what kept you pushing?
Yeah. So I think at the time I lost both my accounts. Again, it was like May of 2024. And at that point, again, keep in mind, I'm like 4 to 5 months into it. I had just hit my first $20,000 month within just a few months of being consistent with this. So I had already seen what was possible. And I knew I would have always regretted it if I didn't keep pushing. It just, something inside me, I was like, I cannot give up on this. I am big into mindset. And I just knew that if I could get my mindset right and get back on track and, you know, become the person that sees that type of success before it actually comes to fruition, I could accomplish it. And I think once I started prioritizing that, like everything else fell into place. But also just knowing what that would do for my family. Like if I stayed consistent, I was like, because even getting a taste of that, I'm like, this could change our life.
Yeah.
And it has.
Yeah. And it's like, exactly like you said, like if you did it once, I feel like you can absolutely do it again.
Yes.
And I love that you said it because that's something I say all the time. I feel like it's so important to visualize it in your head before it comes into fruition. Like I truly think you have to literally kind of like be delusional and be like, I already achieved these things before they actually happen. You know, so that mindset is just so important. So, you know, I commend you for that because a lot of people, they go through those bans, they go through those low sales and they just give up. But clearly that's why you came out on top. And so, you know, talking about like some of the monetary things you've accomplished, I think you have probably the craziest month I've ever seen in terms of commission. You know, I think my best month was, it was 165K in profit. So I was like, okay, that's pretty solid,
that's
right?
Wild.
And then I saw
crazy,
yours and it was, correct me if I'm wrong, $400,000 in profit, right?
Yeah, it was $486,000 in the month of August. It was crazy as hell.
That is fucking insane. So when you hit a month like that, like what are you even thinking to yourself?
I spiraled. It was actually like honestly, transparently, it was like the worst my mental health has ever been.
Really?
Which just because I think the pressure that comes along with it. And at the time, there was like a lot of eyes on me out of nowhere, which puts a
Yeah.
lot of pressure on you too. Cause before that, like no one really knew who I was.
Yeah,
So
that's how I discovered
having
you.
like,
So
yeah, having affiliates flood your page and then seeing videos of people talking about you and your content, like
mhm.
it was challenging, but also just I felt so surreal. And like there's a delay, of course, from when we make the commission versus when we get paid out. So it's kind of one of those like I'll believe it when I see it when it
Yeah.
hits my account. But I think I didn't know it was going to be to that extent,
Yeah.
but I knew there was something more that was coming. When I was in those low days, I knew there was a reason I was meant to keep going. I
Yeah.
could feel it. Like I know that sounds crazy, but it's like I could feel it with
Yeah.
everything in me. I'm like, it's gonna pop. Just don't give up.
Yeah.
And I just had to fix my mindset before anything else. I had to
Mhm.
fix my mindset before I fixed my content because my mindset was in a really bad place during those low days. Um, but so in July, I hit 220,000, which that was crazy. I didn't even think
Yeah.
it could get higher than that. And at that point on, I was like, if I could just maintain 6 figures a month, like that would be wild. So then when August got to the point that it did, I think it was like, not that I needed to top it, but it's like, how could I top it? Like I almost
Yeah.
feel like I peaked, And so it's like, well, now what?
I get that. Yeah.
And at that point on, I was like, I just wanted consistency.
Yeah.
Now that I had achieved something and knew what was possible, I just wanted that consistency because I
Yeah.
almost feel like that defines like a top affiliate, a
Yeah.
true top affiliate, more so than a crazy high month.
Absolutely.
Is the consistency. It's not just one big pop. It's like, can you consistently maintain?
A certain level.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
like, of course, not almost 500,000 a month, but like my goal is just 6 figures a month. I'm like, if I could maintain that, because I knew affiliates that had done it.
Yeah.
That was like my goal.
100%. Yeah. And I feel like that's why your story is so inspiring because, I've had like accounts banned, like completely
Yeah.
wiped, and I've had like low sales. And then it's like, oh man, like it's tough like when you're in the moment because you're like,
Oh
I
yeah.
have to start a whole new account. I have to build up momentum again. It's like, what's the point? But then you see stories like yours and you're like, well, if Kayla did it, then like, why can't I? So I feel like, yeah, you just don't know how many people you
Mhm.
inspire. So that's
Thank
just
you.
really cool. So that month you did 400,000 in commission. How much was that in sales for that month? Do you know?
1.7 or 1.8 million.
Oh my
And I do
God.
think I won't name their name because I don't know if they want it to be known, but I know
Mhm.
there's one affiliate that during Black Friday did pass me. So I don't hold the record anymore, but that's okay.
Mm.
Even just to have accomplished it was amazing.
Yeah,
But
no,
yeah,
that's amazing.
that affiliate crushed it.
Yeah, I think I know you're talking about. There might be like a few that I'm thinking of, but
Yeah.
we can talk off
Yeah,
air.
I just don't. They haven't put it out there publicly, so I don't want to say it. But I don't think I hold the record anymore, which I'm okay with. Even
Yeah.
just holding it for any period of time is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And so your total lifetime sales, do you know what that number is?
Yeah, I think I just passed 9 million GMV.
God, that's insane. Wow. Okay. Obviously, you're one of the top female affiliates in the world, so I think a lot of people are going to get value out of the next questions I'm going to ask. So I want to like dive deep into the actual tactical stuff, like your strategy when it comes to things. So you ran up Dr. Relax, and like I feel like you literally made that brand what it is. Right. So I hope they also sent you like a fat check for that besides your commissions. But how did you actually go about even finding that product, and how do you normally conduct your product research?
Yeah, so for Dr. Malaxin, my best friend Ashley I was mentioning earlier, she was like the first affiliate to have a viral video with them.
Mhm.
And so I was with her and experiencing that run with her when they first popped off. And I think as soon as I saw her video, I was like, this product is so strong because it's got amazing visuals. Like, I think visuals are huge when it comes to a product, and being able to promote it and, get it across to the consumer what problem it's going to solve. But then also their commission was fire. Like all
Yeah.
of it, they had heavy ad spend, they had good inventory. So I feel like all of that goes into it. But I also saw the way that Dr. Malaxin, especially at the time with her, was taking care of their creators. And I really valued that too. They treated her so well
Yeah.
after she popped off with him. So I started promoting Malaxin right after she popped off with it, which was, I think, January. And I mean, I tried every angle. I tried like
Mhm.
every spot on my body that I could think of, like that I could show that. Like I tried it all and it just
Yeah.
was not hitting for me. But I just kept getting called back to it because I'm like, the visuals are so good
Yeah.
and the commission is good. Like I said, just touched on everything. So I remember I was just sitting there and I was like, I wonder if this would work on my leg, like with leg hairs. And I do have like strawberry skin. So I'm like, I should try it with that. I haven't seen anyone do that. And it was kind of in that moment that it clicked for me. And I had been doing it maybe like subconsciously with other products, like trying to promote them in a way that nobody else has. And I think that's when it really clicked for me. It was when I tried it it on my leg and it just took off.
Yeah.
And it was just a new angle. So I think that's something that I try to think of when it comes to product research is, can I maybe promote this in a way that other people haven't, or could I promote it better in a way that other affiliates have, but I think I could do it better, or in a unique way. But also I take into consideration, GMV Max is everything now. So do they have heavy ad spend? Do they have the inventory to support a viral video? And does it have strong visuals? Do I think I could promote it well? I don't know. I don't want to pick something just because a lot of other affiliates are going viral with it. It's like if I think I can promote it well.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot that goes into product research, but those are the biggest things. And that's why I stuck with Malaxin and paid off.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, it more than paid off. So just to kind of recap, you wanted to like have, I guess, like a visual transformation or be visually appealing, something that you feel like you resonate with as well. Good commission, obviously very important. And then also that the brand takes care of their creators. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. And then heavy ad spend and inventory to support like a viral video for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know that's happened sometimes with some affiliates where you blow a product up and then like the next day, literally they're out of stock or something. So that definitely it just sucks. Yeah. So really glad that you brought that point. And I love what you touched on, like coming up with a unique angle, because obviously you were trying all these different things and then suddenly you just tried your leg and that's the one that took off. Now, the one I want to talk about is, I feel like this one is the one that really took off, and it's how I found out about you, the one with your husband, and you did it on like his nose and he's like a blue collar worker. So yeah, like how did you even like think of that? How did you come up with that? Because that was just like such a unique idea, and I mean it popped.
Yeah, I feel like at the time I was just rinsing and repeating what was already working, which I think we should with our content. Like when you find whether it's a hook or a product or the right script, whatever works for you, I think like double down, rinse and repeat. So I was doing that, and then I remember I was at TikTok headquarters earlier that year. It was in spring, and they were saying like men's skincare is like an untapped gold mine, which we saw with like Skateboard B. Like it really is. They were telling us at the time, I was there with the brand, a skincare brand, and they were saying like, I think there was a few men that were there. They're like, if you're a man, like double down on this. But if you're a woman, it's like use the men in your life to sell to men. And so I knew, I was like, I need to push this towards the male audience. But I also learned from my first viral video ever, I'm kind of like, I know I'm veering off, but it'll make sense, I promise.
No,
so my
sure.
first viral video was with Rhino ratchet straps. It was in Black Friday of 2024. And it was, I feel like the reason it did so well, because it was selling to women as a gift to buy for their man.
Gotcha.
So I kind of like tried to keep that same mentality of like, this is something that women are going to want to buy for their husbands who wouldn't necessarily buy it for themselves, which I think is blue collar, at least my husband in my experience. Like,
He's
just use a bar of soap, like, and he's fine. And so I'm like, but they are exposed to the elements more, dirty material more. They work with their hands a lot more. Like he's in and out of like ditches all day. He's a contract. So it's like he needs pore control, good scrub probably more than anyone, but he's not going to buy it for himself. So I feel like the angle worked so well because it's like women buying skincare for their husband.
That's so
and blue
smart.
collar specifically. I'm like, everyone needs a good exfoliant, but he does not like being on camera as much. I wish he would have let me like rinse and repeat that a million times because I'm like, it's such a good angle. I tried it a few more times. Nothing hit the same way as the first one because it's hard to also like capture that first reaction.
Yeah. And keep pulling out all the gunk and stuff.
Exactly. So then I was like, okay, that's kind of run its course. I'm like, who's next? Like I was trying to use everyone as a model. So then I did my father-in-law and his went just as viral, if not more, doing it on him. And then it's like, you're almost hitting like a new demographic each time.
Yeah.
So
wow, I didn't even think of it that way. But like in one, you're hitting like the husbands that are maybe 40, 50. Then the other, you're hitting grandpas, like however old, you know? It's awesome. So yeah, that angle absolutely crushed. And so that's insane so you basically got, I guess, kind of the inspo from, you said going to an event and the skincare brand was basically telling you like, hey, you guys need to be promoting skincare, but geared towards guys, right?
Yeah. Well, of course, geared towards our audience, but they were just letting us know like men's skincare is also like a gold mine, that there's not enough affiliates promoting skincare to men, whether it's for their wives to buy for them or for men to buy for themselves. And so they let us know then, and it just stuck with me. And I've told so many male affiliates, I'm like, do skincare, like sprinkle it in, just see if it hits. And I was like, I'm just going to try it.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah. So any guys watching this, hop on the skincare wave. Seriously.
Skateboard B figured it out.
Yeah,
like,
seriously.
This went crazy.
He crushed with my Korean friend angle. So
definitely a lot of money in there for guys.
Now I kind of want to touch on, and I know you did mention like a few things about about this. But when it comes to your actual, I guess, sort of ideation process, when you're thinking of like, how do I come up with like a video idea that I know is going to bang? Like, what are you thinking about? Do you have your own strategy? Are you thinking about, the psychology of why people buy? Are you getting inspo from other creators? How do you come up with your ideas?
Yeah, I think it's a mix of all of those. And then also sometimes I just wing it.
Yeah.
Like, we'll just see what happens. I definitely get a lot of inspiration from other creators. And there's times where I will scroll just to try and get inspiration if I'm struggling. Now, I don't think we should be like copying other people's content. I've had that happen to me and it's super frustrating, especially when you're the one who is being very intentional, structuring your content with like a hook, a pain point that you relate to. So I don't ever want to do that to any other affiliates. But there's some times where I'm like, oh my God, that hook was so good. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, how can I incorporate that into like a different product for something I'm promoting? So there's times where I'm scrolling and I see hooks and I'm like, that was fire. And I'll just like save it in my notes app, whatever it
Yeah.
was. There's others that come to me in the moment. I always try and be intentional with, using the visual hook, an on-screen hook, and then a verbal hook. And I always want to do it in a way that builds curiosity. So I feel like I try and be intentional with that with every video.
Yeah.
And then pain points as well that I resonate with, or that I think the product could solve that maybe other people haven't touched on. Again, I think that's always a really good angle to try and hit is something that nobody else has talked about that it could possibly solve. But,
Yeah.
even with like Medicube's new hair care line, it's like so many affiliates are promoting that. But for me specifically, it's like, well, I'm a mom who's gone through postpartum loss 3 times with my hair shedding. So it's like, that's an angle that's specific to me that I can use.
Yeah.
And then I try and like tie everything else in around it. I do think there is a lot of like psychology that goes into it, buyer psychology. I think this might not be morally correct, but I feel like it's sales in general. I think anytime you can like trigger an insecurity in someone and find a solution for it, that has way higher odds of converting because like suddenly people think they won't have to feel insecure about this. So I think hitting on insecurities is a big one. So I try and think of what am I insecure about and how would this problem fix it?
Yeah.
How can I communicate that to the audience? And then there's also times where like, I have no idea where I'm going with a video and I just hope I find it along the way. Like I remember
I love
me
that.
and I know I keep bringing her up, Ashley. We're basically the same person. So I'm probably going to talk about her a million more times. I apologize. But
No, it's all good.
she's been with me when I'm filming. And it'll take me 45 minutes to film 1 minute long video because I'm just frustrated over every line and redoing it a million times. And I'm like, I could do it better. That wasn't it. That wasn't it. And I'll just do it until it feels right. And then eventually it all comes together after the editing process. So sometimes it comes naturally and I understand the whole process behind it. And other times I just have to like fight my way to the end and hope figure it out. So
that's awesome. So it seems like sometimes like you have that structure of all the things you want to hit on. Sometimes you're kind of just going with the flow.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Fire,
it's a surprise for everyone.
Yeah. Well, it's clearly worked really well for you. And yeah, like I really like what you hit on, like with hitting insecurities. Like obviously, like when you get people triggered or like when you hit a pain point, like I don't think that's necessarily bad because it's like at the end of the day, if you're actually giving them a good product that's actually gonna like maybe make their teeth whiter, maybe make their skin better, maybe like help with whatever they're insecure about, and it actually helps them, then it's like I feel like you help them, right? So
absolutely.
it's all good.
Yeah. But it's like thinking of that. It's like, what are people insecure about? How can I trigger their insecurity in this moment? Well, that aspect of it. But like you said, we're giving them a solution.
Yeah. Obviously, you've had one of the craziest months that I've personally ever seen from an affiliate. You ran up Dr. Malax in a 400K commission in a single month, which is just bonkers. So I feel like you're one of the most qualified people to speak on scaling. So when it comes to like your actual scaling process, like let's say, a product starts to catch some momentum, you see that spark, maybe a couple $100. How do you take that to like the point where you did? Like, how do you scale that to multiple 6 figures?
Consistency. And I think just doing it again and again and again until you find the winning angle. And I think, I'm someone that's done this as well, where I have seen initial success with a product, but it wasn't what I thought it would be. And I was like, oh, I'll just move on to the next. But I'm like, that's where I feel like that separates the affiliates that do find those 6-figure months versus the ones that just move on to the next, is because maybe one video I did get 10 sales on, and then going back and studying the video and studying your data and analytics and seeing how could I tweak this to maybe where the next video sells 100 or is the one that pops off, and then just staying super consistent with that. I think that's why Dr. Malaxin worked so well for me eventually, is because I stuck with it for over 6 months and I tried every angle, and I did start seeing sales slowly pick up. And then I'm like, just keep adjusting, keep tweaking until you find the one that hits. And so I think that's how you scale, is you just keep doing it, tweaking different things, studying your content, studying studying other people's content and understanding why it converts and incorporating that into yours until you find that winning angle.
Mm-hmm.
And then doubling down, tripling down once you find it. Because I hit that angle so many times once it popped off. You know, it wasn't just from one video that I saw those numbers. It was from so many once I found that winning angle.
I feel like it's funny you mentioned that because literally every single creator I've had on the podcast that has hit a 6-figure profit month, they say the exact same thing. Like you double down, doesn't matter if it's the same thing, like rinse and repeat.
Yep.
And I feel like that's just the overarching note, like especially if you're trying to scale to those 6-figure profit months, like double down, like keep repeating it. Like literally, it does not matter if it's like the same thing. If it's working, like why would you stop? You know, so I just find it funny that literally every top creator says that.
Yeah. And I'm victim, or I've done this as well, where I've had a video, even one recently with like the Medicube eye cream. It comes in like a trio. And my first video with it, like it did pretty good. It wasn't anything crazy, but then I was just like, I don't know why I just didn't stick with it. And now I'm seeing other people's videos that are structured pretty similarly to mine, but they're printing and there's in like, you know, millions of views. And I'm like, why didn't I stick with it? Why didn't I just keep tweaking it? Like, I know that when a video starts working, like double down.
Yeah.
And so, but it happens.
Yeah. Do you have a team that helps you with anything, or is it kind of just a solo woman effort? Like you're filming, editing, doing everything yourself?
I do now.
Okay.
So throughout that whole process and even the summer during those crazy months, it was all me. I have had someone helping with my emails for over a year now.
Nice.
Just kind of helping me like land brand deals and navigate that, because I'm so bad at communication. And as you know, like there's so many different ways that we're contacted by brands, whether, you know, WhatsApp, Lark, Discord, on TikTok. They find you off of TikTok, email. So just having someone manage my emails and brand deals, which I don't focus on too much, that was the only help I had. So during that time, it was all me. 100% me. Now I do have an editor. I hired him in November, and that's just been, oh my God, life-changing.
Yeah, that's what I need, like right now.
Oh my God. And that was the part that I dreaded most, was the editing process.
Yeah.
I would drag my feet when it came to editing. And I mean, I know how to. If I lost him tomorrow, I could go back. And I think it is a really important skill to learn, but I also knew it was the part that I dreaded most. And I think once you learn that time is everything, time is money. So the more time that I can have to focus on creating high converting content, like that is ultimately going to be more money in my pocket. So if I have to outsource everything else or a majority of things, like it's worth it in the long run. That money's going to come back to me. So I did end up outsourcing like things at home that I wasn't able to stay on top of, like just, you know, getting someone to help around the house with like cleaning, you know, things like that. That's been huge. And then I have an editor now, and then I just hired an assistant like 2 months ago who's like in the home with me, and he's phenomenal. We're just trying to like, I don't know, we're learning and growing together, but I think that's been really nice in terms, like he set up my content room for me now that we're in a bigger house. And I am working on outsourcing what I don't like doing, what I struggle with, and what would free up the most time for me.
100%. Yeah. And I feel like that's one of the most under talked about things. And so that's why I'm so glad that you actually, like, it seems like you do have like a full team that helps you with a ton of things. Because obviously I feel like your job, especially as you get bigger as an affiliate, is to free up the most amount of your time so you can focus on what actually moves the needle. What's the stuff that creates leverage? What's actually going to make you money? So yeah, I love that. In terms of like how you found your editor, was that like a VA? Is that someone you taught in person? How did that work?
Yeah, it was actually when I was in Korea. That was one of the best trips just in general, but also for me as a creator, because I was around all of these other top beauty affiliates that had been at the top a lot longer than I had. So getting to pick their brain was, I mean, everything. Just an understanding, like all of them had editors, all of them had assistants, all of them had these resources that were helping them so that they could put more back into their content and produce more content, take on more brand deals, take on more opportunities to build those connections and relationships. And so it was through one of the girls in Korea. She gave me her editor's info, and he's phenomenal.
And so in terms of like, to get a little bit more tactical with that, if you don't mind, is that like, let's say you batch film your videos, you upload them in a drive. How does like the whole process work?
Yeah, I batch film, and I'm not the most consistent with filming. So there's days where I don't send him anything, and then there's days where I'll drop like 40 for him to edit, but he's good. He rolls with it. And then, we just have like a Google Drive. I upload them all raw, unedited. And I'm like, I mean, I'm just like any other affiliate out there. Like my filming process is so chaotic, and
oh God. Yeah.
I'm I get so frustrated with myself. I'm like cussing at myself. I'm like, what the fuck were you trying to say? Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
send it all to him. I'm like, make it work,
Yeah, yeah.
And he does, and he's professional. He never judges me for saying some crazy shit.
Yeah.
He's good. So, and then he uploads them pretty quick too. Like within 24 hours, he sends them all back to me edited.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely feel like that's absolutely what I need because I feel like it would free up so much
Oh my
time,
God. Yeah.
Like I'm already like filming like let's say 3, 4, 5 hours out of the day and then have to
Mhm.
edit like 2 hours. Like, dude,
Oh,
this
it
is the
was,
most
yeah.
draining thing, So I
Hire
feel
an
like,
editor, 100%.
yeah, that's definitely like the next play. Absolutely.
I'll give you his info after this. Yeah.
Perfect. So I do want to ask because I definitely want the viewers to be able to see this. What are some of the things that TikTok Shop has been able to do for you? Like, how has it changed your life? What has it been able to do for your family's life?
Yeah, so much, so much. I mean, like I touched on earlier, got us into a beautiful home, which has always been one of my biggest goals, has
Yeah.
just been like a comfortable home for my kids to live in where they had their own space, and I know any home that we can be in with our kids is like a blessing, but it was really just something that was on my heart. I was like, I just want a big house for my family.
Yeah.
So, and on land, I just wanted that so bad. I mean, I was
That's
able
awesome.
to have it so my husband could scale way back at work, which he's, in construction, he's a contractor. And I grew up with a dad who's blue collar,
Mhm.
who's just on like his second hip replacement. He's had his shoulders replaced, his knees
Yeah.
operated on. Like I know what those jobs do
Mhm.
for blue collar workers, and I see how physically demanding they are. And I didn't want that for him,
Mhm.
So he has been able to scale way back, and he's been able to be more present with the kids, which he wasn't able to during the first 5 years of their life because he was working 12 hours a
Yeah.
day. So he's able to be home and be more present. And then just, I mean, of course, the opportunities like, getting to travel and go on vacation and get new cars and like that stuff is amazing. It's incredible. But just, I think I would say time freedom, but I think all of us struggle with that. It's like,
Yeah.
that's why we might have initially pursued this as time freedom, but I don't think any of us
Actually have it.
actually have it because we're all so consumed with this. Like,
Mhm.
I am completely addicted to TikTok Shop. Like, I have a super addictive personality. So,
Yeah, especially at the level you're at.
it
It's like,
just consumes you. So,
yeah.
but I think the possibility for time freedom and the possibilities that come from this type of income, where maybe in, 5 years or however long, like I am able to retire, and then
Yeah.
have that freedom that I'm searching for. But just,
Absolutely.
I mean, even just the ability to be home with my kids constantly, like that's huge.
Yeah.
But we have, savings accounts set up for them, college accounts set up for them, retirement accounts for me and my husband, things that I didn't have growing up. And,
Yeah.
my parents were incredible. They did the best they could with what they knew, but they were very much the traditional 9 to 5 jobs. This is
Yeah.
what we do. And so just like you kind of touched on earlier too, like no one really saw the vision when I started. They're just like, oh, she's making weird videos online,
Yeah.
but she swears it's going to do something. I think that's been a huge opportunity, blessing to like show other people in my life what is out there outside of traditional 9 to 5 jobs, corporate jobs. There is huge opportunities online and so much money to be made on TikTok. Like I still think TikTok Shop is one of the craziest. I can't
Mhm.
think of a better like e-commerce option for
Yeah.
people trying to make money.
Exactly. And it's still so early.
It's so
Like, we're
early.
so early.
Yeah, it's wild. So I think just getting to show people that and being able to help my family in ways that I never
Mhm.
thought I could before, like it's all just been life changing.
Yeah, I love that so much. And it's like we touched on earlier, all the monetary stuff is really cool. But I
Mhm.
think just knowing that your family's taken care of at the end of the day, I think that's the best
Yeah.
feeling in the world. And even like you said, maybe we don't have the most time because obviously, we're constantly moving, traveling,
Mhm.
filming all the time. But I think it's also the fact that your hours, you're doing something that you actually enjoy.
Yeah.
Instead of like you said, like, going to an office job. Like
Mhm.
I'm the same way. It's like I
Yeah.
would never want to work a regular job.
Yeah.
Like that's just not me. Like I've always wanted to work for myself. So even though we do spend a lot of time with this, it's like I feel like something we actually enjoy. So that's what makes it just so much more fulfilling.
Yeah, I agree.
I know a lot of women are going to be watching this, probably a lot of moms as well.
Mhm.
What would you say to someone who's maybe considering starting TikTok shop, but maybe they have those limiting beliefs? Maybe they don't think that they're cut out for it. Maybe they don't know how they're going to be able to balance with their regular job. Maybe they're afraid of being judged or criticized by their friends or family members. What would you say to that woman who's watching this right now?
Yeah. I mean, I resonate with all of that. I think I kind of touched on it earlier. I think just mindset is everything. And I think working on those limiting beliefs was something that I had to work on before the content. But also with creating content comes that confidence. And it started slowly for me. Like I said, I first started with faceless content. I was too scared to show my face. And it's just something you have to be willing to be bad at before you can be good at it, which is anything new we try. Like you have to be willing to be bad at it and go through those growing pains before you're going to see success. And my childhood best friend is now on like month 3 of being an affiliate, and she's getting good quick. But she's at that point now where she's just like, she's not seeing the conversion. She's wondering if it's worth it. And I'm like, do not stop. Like,
Yeah.
please don't stop. I think just understanding people I don't feel like they believe us when we say this. Like, this is such an insane opportunity. Like the
So
fact that
insane.
we have brands that just give us the product for free and we get to make videos and just print money is wild. Like it's wild when you take a step back and look at it, you know,
Exactly.
and just like the opportunities for travel and, you know, connecting with people you never thought you'd get to meet is
Yeah.
amazing. But
I mean, you're here in LA for the
it's
Goalie
so
Gala
crazy.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
For some context, the Goalie Gala is basically like the Oscars for TikTok Shop affiliates. And Kayla actually got nominated for, was it Breakout
you.
Creator of the
Yeah.
Year? Yeah, that's
Yes.
amazing.
Thank you.
I'm going to be rooting for you on
Thank you.
Tuesday in 2 days because
Yes.
I'll be there as well. So yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
really hoping you win. But yeah, exactly like you said, it's like the best business model, you know,
Yeah.
because with so many other things, Amazon FBA, eBay, drop shipping, whatever, like you need capital, you need to buy inventory, you probably need a team. With this, it's literally like you said, you can start with products around your house or you get sent the product,
Yeah.
or even if you have to buy the products, like that's okay. And then you
Tax
just
write-off.
make content. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
tax write off. And then you just make videos. Like
Yeah.
that's unheard of.
And I also feel like with TikTok Shop now, even when I started, like we didn't have a ton of extra money for me to invest in products, and brands weren't eager to send you samples if you didn't have the GMV behind it. But I was
Exactly.
like, what products do I already have here? Like, let me start there.
Mhm.
And you just slowly build. But I think also, I know I didn't fully answer your question. I think working on those limiting beliefs, and you know, you talked earlier about like visualization. I'm huge into that. And I think I almost like, I don't want to take away from like the strategy and skills and content creation aspect behind why I achieved my highest month, but none of that would have happened if I didn't focus on mindset first. And I'm big into like manifestation and like Joe
100%.
Dispenza. I'm obsessed with him, and
Yeah.
just taking the time to unlearn those limiting beliefs. And I would wake up every morning at 5:30. I need to get back to doing this because I've been slacking it, but I would take time to like visualize and
Mhm.
say those affirmations and write out the affirmations. And I do really think we have to like train our subconscious mind into like believing that these things are possible even when we haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And you know, whether it's looking at someone else who has achieved it, knowing, just like you said, if they can do it, I can do it.
Absolutely.
I had to work on that while also being willing to put myself out there and be vulnerable. And like I said, I was scared at first. I wouldn't put my face out there. But once you see like a taste of it, once I started seeing some higher months, I was like, I'm going to send it. Like, I'm just going to go all in. And also there's so many different options. There is faceless content. You know, if there's someone that has maybe that fear of being seen and doesn't want to put their face out there, you know, whatever, like there's so many different styles of this. There's
sound with text.
Yeah.
We don't have to
There's
really
so
talk.
much. Or if you're nervous, like I think skits can do so well.
Mhm.
And also it can bring the fun back into it. Like when I'm really struggling mentally doing skits, like Ashley and I were doing skits over the weekend. We were just invited to a health and wellness retreat with TikTok, and we just took some time there to make skits. And it's like those can convert really well. Sometimes they're just for entertainment, but like it brings like the fun back into it, and
100%.
having another person that you can brainstorm with.
Yeah.
Because I do think this can be really isolating. So to someone new starting out, it's like, I don't know if you have someone to do the journey with, or if you can find that connection really early on with an affiliate that you admire. And then also doing the work on yourself to know like you are deserving of these things, of the money, of the opportunities. And that honestly, I think anyone can do this, but I think it does take a certain type of person who can deal with the lows. You know, like I don't know, I want to word that carefully because I do think anyone can do it, but I think it has to be someone who
You have to be resilient.
Yeah, and maybe has enough to lose without it. I don't know. Like, I feel like every affiliate that I've talked to, especially top affiliates, like it's been kind of at that like breaking point where they're like, I've got to figure out something, you know, whether it was like at a job that they hate that was crushing their soul, and they're like, I have to find something else besides this. Or like I said with us, it was like we were struggling to the point where it's like, I'm going to have to go back to an office job, which I hate, time away from my kids. I was like, I have to make this work. It's almost like, I don't know, where you're at that point of no return where it's like, I'm just going to send it. And give it my all.
Exactly. Yeah, where your back's kind of like against the wall.
Yeah.
I feel like that's, yeah, exactly like you
Hmm.
said, how a lot of top affiliates are. There were so many good things that you mentioned there. I think one thing for sure, exactly like you said, like like when you're starting out, you don't immediately have to get into like the talking
Hmm.
head, right? Like that's the main style I do. Kayla does as well.
Hmm.
But like sometimes on days where I'm just like really tired, really drained, but I still want to stay consistent, I just do faceless. Like I just
Yeah.
show the product and that's it. So that's something you can start with. Sound with
Hmm.
text. Exactly like Kayla said as well, skit style, all of those work. And then to really touch on the mindset, I just like, I want to emphasize how important that is because literally every single top creator that I've had on the podcast mentions that.
Everything.
And yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes like I'll even get comments from viewers or just like random strangers. Obviously, you shouldn't care about the opinions
Yeah.
of people, but they'll be like, oh, this is just like mindset, woo woo stuff.
Hmm.
And I'm like, why do you think that the most successful people always mention it?
Yeah.
It has to be for a reason. And
Yeah.
it's because it's so important because without it, you're nothing. Like if you don't
Yeah.
believe that you can achieve these things, you're not going to have the consistency, you're not going to have the drive, and you're definitely not going to have the willpower when you do hit those lows to
Hmm.
keep going. So I
Yeah.
feel like mindset, manifesting, like just believing you can have these things, so crucial.
Yeah, it's everything. When I hit my lowest day, which was in April, it was $88. And, coming off of the high that was Black Friday prior to that with the Rhino ratchet straps, like
Yeah.
I just wanted to give up. I was like, when I would go back and watch my videos that I was posting recently, like you can feel people's energy through the screen. And I could feel like my energy was like desperate. It was, I just wanted the sale. I wasn't being authentic. I wasn't promoting products I cared about. And I knew because I've been deep into like manifestation and prioritizing mindset for a long time. I knew that I was so off path of where I should have been that it was like I almost needed that day as like a reset where I was like, you have to fix your mindset. Otherwise, nothing else is going to change. I think so much like the things that we believe about ourselves, that we believe to be true, that we believe about like what we deserve is what we are going to get. And
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on at the time, but I was like, you're going to fix your mindset before you even focus on your content and taking the time to really sit down and think about like, who do I want to be and how does that person show up?
Yeah.
And now I need to show up now as that person,
Mhm.
as if I already had those things. And I was thinking like, how would a top affiliate show up? I bet they are planning out their days. They are studying content. They're being strategic with product selection. They are also like trusting themselves and trusting their ability and just everything that went into it. I was like, just like you said, delusional. I
Yeah.
was like, I already am that person. And I tell myself that every single day, before I ever saw it. It's
Mhm.
like, I earn 6 figures every month.
Yeah.
Before it ever happened, I was telling myself that for months. I earn
love
six
that.
figures every single month. All of my videos go viral and convert like on repeat in my head constantly. And, people can say it's mine, woo woo, whatever. I just think, like you said, when all the top affiliates are telling you the same thing, like maybe there's some truth behind it. Also, I think when you see it in real life, when I look at like the vision board I created last year in the beginning of the year, and it's like every single one of those things,
Has happened.
almost every. I haven't gotten a Paris trip yet, but I'm
Yeah.
working on it for this year. But even this year, like in January, I put a picture of me in Times Square on a billboard. And then it's like a few
That's
weeks later, it's
crazy.
happening. It's like, I just think
Yeah.
like when you put it out there and you wholeheartedly believe it can happen and you're
Mhm.
also willing to put in the work behind it, like it's inevitable.
It's gonna happen.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm just so delusional with that. I'm like, it's already done.
Yeah, I love that so much. Yeah, so just like it's just so important for you to have the right mindset. I literally feel like it's everything in this
Mhm.
game and just in life. I honestly
Yeah,
feel like it's
yeah.
everything in life. So I love that we touched on that. I kind of want to take a little bit of a step back
Mhm.
and talk about what were maybe some of your biggest mistakes when you were
Mm.
starting out with TikTok Shop, or maybe even recently that you would tell new affiliates to avoid.
I think, everyone's account is different and so many affiliates are going to have like different opinions on what products to promote. Some people say like only promote like the most viral or
Mhm.
find new ones to promote. I think for me, I was too focused on what everyone else was doing. And I think anytime I try and do what other people are doing, I never see conversions or success with it. And it's interesting because there's a lot of other affiliates that it's like, look at what other people are doing and copy it, make it
Yeah.
your own. That's never worked for me. I feel like what's worked for me is finding products that I honestly, it's like, I don't want to call it like a gut feeling, but just like I'll see it and I'm like, I think I could promote that well. And
Yeah.
then I look and see if it has everything else to back it up.
That criteria you're
the
talking
inventory,
about.
yeah, the inventory, the ad spend, all of that. Or brands that I work really well with, like Medicube just launched new products and it's like a well-known brand that has a new product is probably going to have heavy ad spend behind it. I'll always try and focus on that. But so I think some mistakes that I've made is choosing products that I don't care about at all and don't care to promote and don't care to like research. Yeah, like I said, just trying to do what other people are doing, looking at like top affiliates. And especially at the time when I was really struggling, I was just trying to like do what everyone else was doing. And none of it felt right. None of it felt authentic to me. And so I almost had to, when I had that lowest day, I do think it was a blessing in disguise because I was like, I have to stop looking at what everyone else is doing. And I need to like focus on me and being authentic, showing up as yourself, which I still struggle with that. Like even when I watch my videos, I'm like, I can't tell if my tonality sounds too boring or too salesy. Like, I struggle with so much of that still, but I think there's so many mistakes I made and still make. Like I said, not doubling down on products when they start to convert, even if it's a small conversion, it's like your account's giving you some feedback,
It's a
double
sign.
down. Yeah, keep going. I think just comparing yourself to others, which is really challenging in this space, it's almost impossible not to, which again, something I still do, not giving ourselves grace. This is, I mean, we're at the beginning of TikTok Shop. And so we're almost the ones that we're taking all the hits. We're taking the account bans before TikTok can smooth it out. We're taking the initial violation waves. And so with that, there's so much, I don't know, like self-doubt and criticism. And it never feels like I'm doing enough. No matter how much I'm doing, it never feels like I'm doing enough. So, which I think we all struggle with. So I think not giving myself grace, and other affiliates out there that I know that do the same, that would be a mistake. And then also maybe not so much content related, but I think finding boundaries with this. If I could go back and establish better boundaries, maybe I wouldn't have seen the same monetary success. But I don't think enough people talk about how hard this is on your mental health. So many top affiliates that have had crazy high months like are spiraling, like their mental health is in the trenches. Like and it doesn't make sense. And it's not something that you can talk about openly because no one feels bad for you, right? Like,
They're like, oh, you're making all this money.
Even if you make $20,000 a month, but you're struggling mentally, it's like no one cares. Like you're making really good money. So you can't really talk about it openly. And then I feel like we isolate and go inward. And so I think establishing better boundaries in the beginning, whether that's creating a better schedule and trying to stick to it and prioritizing time away from it, being honest earlier about how I'm feeling with people that I trust.
Having a supportive friend group, I feel like is
which
so
I do,
important.
and I've always had that. But there's times where it's like no one wants to hear me complain that I'm struggling mentally when I just hit these numbers. So you just don't talk about it. And then I think that can be really damaging as well. And again, I don't know, once you hit those numbers too, once you start seeing the higher numbers, it's like then there is that pressure. And I feel like that can affect the creative process as well. I don't know, there's so many mistakes I've made. My editing was horrible for a while. It took me a long time to edit out dead space. So I guess just when you talk about mistakes, it's like I could go on forever. But
I think all the things that you touched on were really good because I loved how you didn't just touch on like the technical aspects like editing, like towards the end, but like a lot of the mindset stuff that a lot of affiliates struggle with, like especially what you're talking about, like when you do hit a high month and everybody on the outside, they think like, oh, like this guy or this girl, they're crushing, but they don't know like maybe you're experiencing burnout. Maybe like, you're just tired of posting content all day, every day. And it feels like you can't talk to anybody about it because it's exactly like you said, people are like, well, you're rich. Like, what does it matter?
No one
You're
cares.
crushing right now. Like, what does it matter?
Yeah.
But that's a very real thing. So I think that's really great what you touched on. What does the future look like for Kayla Burkett? Like in 5 years, what would be success for you ideally?
I wish I knew. I think success for me would be having created consistent passive income on multiple platforms while also being more intentional about building a brand for myself, which I don't know what that looks like. That's something that I need to really work on. That is able to sustain me so I can be more present with my family and my kids. Because I think so many moms join this because we want more time with our kids, but then it's so consuming that, even now it's like I'm traveling for the next 2 weeks straight, and all of April I'm traveling. And it's like, that's really challenging with 3 kids at home. And I want more time with them. I think that is what I think success looks like to me, is finding a way to build this and turn this into something that can create passive income and also allow me to be my own person and post the kind of content I want, which like I know I already can, but it's hard with TikTok Shop because it's like those other videos don't hit the same, when it comes to monetary wins, in a way where I just love what I'm doing, but I'm also able to step away, whether that's for half the day or days at a time, and just be fully present with my kids and still have that money flowing in.
I love that.
Yeah.
So
I don't know
still
what that
making
looks
money.
like, but
Still making money, but being able to be more present with your
Mhm.
family, it sounds like.
Yeah, not having it be this consuming.
Okay.
Where I could even step away for a week and not have it feel like I'm going to lose everything or piss the algorithm off or all the things we struggle with now.
Okay, so last question that I always like to ask is, if you and I were to die tomorrow, Kayla, what is the number one lesson that you would want to leave the viewer with?
Yeah, I think we do only get this one life. I think that fear of being seen is so real, but it's also, it doesn't have to be, like you don't have to care what people think about you. And I know that's so much easier said than done. But if I could have gotten over that fear of being seen years ago, like, how much sooner could I have accessed content creation, which I knew was something I was always interested in. And then also, I think too, just feeling rejection is real. But I think like a lot of times rejection is redirection. And I wish, I wouldn't have been so hard on myself in the past when I had experienced rejection from jobs or life in general, because I think all of it's been a redirection to where I am now. So just embracing rejection as redirection. Again, back to that woo-woo stuff. Like, I genuinely believe, I think I'm proof of this, you can create your own reality. Like, you are not subjected to what you grew up with, like what your parents did, what your family members did, what your friends are doing. I grew up in a really small town. And so what I was doing, like, I know there was people talking about me and how like cringy my content was. And I think just knowing that if you feel that feeling of being called to do something bigger, like, follow it, chase it, see where it can take you. Like, you can become someone you never thought was possible. You can become someone like your family never thought was possible and create a reality so, I mean, just wildly different than anything you've ever seen before, just by being willing to take risks and put yourself out there and like genuinely believe that it's possible for yourself. So I think just all of that,
Yeah.
you can create whoever you want to be, whatever life it is you want to live. I think we see it with people time and time again, but so many people think it's not possible for them, but like, it is. And then, the rest of it, just getting over that fear of being seen.
I think all of that was amazing. And I really love that last point that you touched on, and also like the redirection. I want to talk about that as well. But the last point, like, you can create whoever you want to be in this life, and you don't have to wait like a week, a month. Like, you could literally wake up tomorrow and be like, I'm going to start this new job. I'm going to start making TikTok shop content. I'm going to be this person. Like, you don't need anyone's approval. You don't need to wait on anything. And so I really think that that's so important. And it leads to the first thing that you said. It's like, because you have one life. It's like, why would you waste it doing something that you don't enjoy? Maybe you're afraid of other people's criticism. Like, who cares? When we die, everyone's opinions are not going to matter.
Irrelevant.
They're irrelevant. Yeah. So it's like, do what you want to do.
Yeah. I also, too, just think I know so many affiliates that do have a past, and I think so often we're tied to that identity of mistakes we've made. I mean, I myself struggled with addiction for years. I'm almost 5 years sober, but I was hooked on like pills for years. I mean, I don't know if you want to include that in there, but you're welcome to.
Yeah, that's your story.
I'm transparent with it. But I think talking to so many other affiliates that have also struggled with addiction, it's like, this has been such a positive transition for us, where it's like, now I can put all my addictive tendencies towards TikTok shop, which again, I need to create better boundaries with. But like, it's completely changed my life. And I think a lot of people that have had experiences in their past or struggle with things like addiction, like that almost becomes their identity. They believe that that is who they're tied to. They're tied to that identity like indefinitely. And it's like, you can choose to change yourself, your identity, your beliefs at any point. And it's like, I don't even resonate with that person. That feels like a different life that I experienced those things and went through those things. I feel like I created a new identity, and maybe like, obviously I'm wise enough to not go and try pills again. I'm not going to roll those dice, but like, I think we can just create something, even if we've struggled and made mistakes or whatever it is, gone through really traumatic things. You can just choose to be someone different or turn those into positives and create a brand new life.
That's so true. You are who you tell yourself you are. So super important. Well, it was an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast,
thank you so
Kayla.
much. This was fun. My first podcast.
Yeah, it was amazing. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe.
You.
And if you guys do want to get started with affiliate, check out the top link inside of the description.